here is the starting 11 for the opposition Carolina Core FC, coached by Jake Davis. The goalkeeper, number 1, Nicholas Holiday. The defenders, number 21, Nelson Martinez. Number 2, Charles Orbaugh. Number 4, Nolan Evers. And number 17, Jair Gaiza. In the midfield, number 6, Ricardo Montenegro. Number 7, Tim Seegers. Number 20, Thomas Rambo. And the forwards, number 27, Andrew Cech. Number 15, Antonio Vieira. And number 26, Arnaud Depperman.
The greatest stage in soccer is coming to New York City as Match Week 16 begins with an Eastern Conference matchup between a pair of teams still clawing back into the playoff picture. NYCFC are 4 points back the playoff line as Carolina Core look to stay the course in Game 4 of the Jake Davis era. MLS Next Pro Match Week 16 is in Queens, New York at Belson Stadium. Hello, welcome. My name is Ryan Lee. Thank you for joining us. It's been a real interesting season for both of these two, although there is still opportunity for them to continue to grow, especially within the 2026 season. However, both teams might be under the playoff, while neither are most certainly out of it, as there's absolutely an opportunity to continue to climb the standings. NYC is only 4 points behind the playoff line, while Carolina, with a new coach, it seemingly appears to be a new era for the core, where they can take off and run so far with points in 2 of the 3 games since Jake Davis took over as interim head coach. But for Mount Pickerington's unit, one of the longest tenured coaches in MLS Next Pro, is only making 2 changes from the last match against Philly Union 2. Klein is in goal for the 3rd straight, accounting for all 3 of his starts this season. He had his 3 goals allowed against Columbus, but followed it up with a clean sheet against Philly. Duque is the lone change in the midfielder unit. He makes his 4th start this season. He's got Sam and Flax, both of which are on multi-game runs with goal contributions. Last change for Matt Pilkington, you have James Bilden up top as the lone forward in the 4-2-3-1. He makes his 2026 debut, 7 appearances in 2025. It's his first appearance since mid-September. As for interim head coach Jake Davis and Carolina Core FC, they come in not only fresh off a win, but also making a singular change since then. Holiday has started every single match since their 3rd game of the season against Chicago Fire. Kaiser is back into the left back slot. He had a red card suspension against Crown Legacy, but he comes back into the fray. That allows Czech to come in at right wing forward, who is making his 2nd start since coming in to Carolina last week. He and Pineda are the wings to Arno Tatavan, the centering forward, who is the reigning MLS Next Pro Player of the Week of Week 15 with his brace against Carolina Core.
Number 75, Drew.
We make our
Kerr.
way in the middle of Belson Stadium on the campus of St. John's University in Queens, where the greatest stage in soccer has made its way to New York City. NYCFC 2 and Carolina Core 2. And it really has been a soccer epicenter ever since the World Cup tournament began only a week ago, but there is no other soccer on hand. And a lot of intriguing one with a lot of interesting storylines going into the start of match week 16. As we slowly make our way into the back half of 2026, both teams, everything is still very much on the table for them. For New York City, they sit at 18 points on the table. Although 12th place in the East does look bleak by appearances, in the grand scheme of the Eastern Conference picture, they are in a pretty solid spot. Only 4 points behind Toronto FC in 22 points apiece. As for Toronto, they are 6-5-1 with NYCFC's 5-5-2. So there most certainly could be an option for New York to catch up. 4 points is not insurmountable, but they do have teams to potentially have to pass as well, as they are tied with Philly Union with 18 points apiece. Both Huntsville and Cincy only one above that twosome of Philly and NYC. But right on NYC's tail, only 2 slots underneath them in the Eastern Conference table, is Carolina Core. A very rough, very rocky beginning of the season, where they really couldn't get out of their own way, especially for the first 2 months. Through all of March and through all of April, they didn't have a single win in regulation, only 1 win in PKs. You follow a month of May up with 3 losses in 4 games, which leads to an overhaul in Carolina Core. The dismissal of Eddie Pope and Donovan Ricketts allows the entryway of Jake Davis into the fray. His 3rd game in the interim role for the headman with Carolina Core. The goalkeeping coach, he was hired early on in the season. He's in his 3rd game as an interim, but both teams come in fresh off of clean sheet wins, looking to build upon it as they make their way at Belson Stadium on the campus of St. John's in Queens, where New York City is the home of the greatest stage in soccer. As we get started for Week 16 in MLS Next Pro, NYCFC, they're in all white. They'll begin right to left, and left to right in the purple will be Carolina Core. As for the Foxes, this will be a first of 3 straight games in 9 days before they head back to High Point a little over a week from now. As Ryan Lee and our entire MLS Next Pro crew, we thank you for joining us here at Belson Soccer Stadium, where two teams are desperate to return to form, both of whom having very slow starts to the 2026 campaign, both of which finding their own ways to right the ships respectively. For NYC, a playoff spot is right in their grasp. Only 4 points is very attainable by all stretches of the imagination. But for Carolina, it would be a bit of an uphill climb, as they do have to catch up 10 points on Toronto FC2. But if they can continue the run of form, they might be able to make something work. That split outwards towards Haji Sam. Haji Sam along the near side with Drew Kerr, the former Duke Blue Devil, continues outside for Sam. Nice tackle outside, but it will generate the first dead ball scenario, which will be an NYC corner. Only 90 seconds into this match, we do have our first opportunity. It will be Drew Kerr on the flag. He's got Flax as the near option. Kerr deep. No one can maintain it. Pineda gets it out of the box before it's back for New York. Clipped in again. Too high. It was swept along by Duque. He retrieves top of the box. Outward. Flax. Returns for Duque. Off the defender. Another corner to New York. First of 3 games on the Wednesday slate of matches in MLS Next Pro. However, this is the only match in the East. The other 2 are coming later. There'll be Western Conference matchups. Second corner coming for NYC. Inward. Flicked out. Kept in by Kerr. Still Kerr. Tightropes the line. Still hasn't escaped, and this will be a 3rd consecutive corner to NYC. New York will need every chance they get. They are one of the teams at the bottom in terms of shot and chance generation. Kerr again. Outward, too far. New York will chase before they do eventually keep it in play. Too far for anyone in white to receive. This will go back towards Nick Holiday for a goal kick. For Nick Holiday, 13 consecutive starts in his first MLS Next Pro season with Carolina Core. Maybe a chance to spring ahead. But Carolina waiting for numbers. Lifted. Tatavan lays it back with Pineda. The Core push ahead. Edge of the area, but the cross is kept by Brandon Klein. Couple of goalies who have had some pretty consistent runs over the last couple of weeks, and between the pipes for Klein, he started the last 3 straight. For Holiday, last 13. Top of the area, Tatavan. A brace last time out against Crown Legacy. Couldn't find it to Rambolt. Swept away by Haji Sam. Kept in front by Orbaugh. Eventually corralled by Kerr. And Haji Sam will win the position battle to keep it with New York. You saw some of the early pressure made by Carolina Core, especially a team that has been able to find some semblance of offense over the last couple of weeks. 2 goals against Crown Legacy, and even in their loss to Orlando, they scored a pair of goals as well. But They allowed Orlando to get back to that one deep in the game in about the final quarter hour, dropping that game to Orlando. And that also comes after drawing level against Red Bull New York 2 in the first game of the Jake Davis era, putting Carolina Core with points in 2 of their last 3, a draw and a win. But the stoppage will allow Rambolt to spot the dead ball. Rambolt curls it, back post, still loose. Pineda couldn't get a swing. Montenegro leaves it behind. Another cross. No one can touch. Rambolt, give and go. Tatavan, the center is blocked. Acito out of play for a corner to Carolina, their first. These are two teams who do not get a lot of opportunities at goal. They are both within the bottom 10 in terms of both shots attempted and shots on target. New York are in the bottom 2 in both of those categories, including the fewest on target. So these corners will be paramount as the game goes on. Rambolt again. Makes contact, still loose. Duque's out. A wild swing from range is well wide, but you got to appreciate the attempt made. Couldn't clear. Carolina have it deep. Tatavan ran into a triple team, and that allows New York to at least buy a little breathing room before it's cut off from Zagers. Racing back was the center back Orbaugh, and they will retreat towards Nick Holiday. In their opening 10 match of the season, Carolina Core, they couldn't get a single win in regulation if you include all competitions. Not just 0 regulation wins, they only had 1 win in PKs, including being eliminated in the first round of the Open Cup against the NPSL's Virginia Dream. And it was about as bad of a start as you could have if you were Carolina Core, right after a playoff campaign in 2025 where they barely squeaked in. And when you really have the lingering taste of a 5-1 loss to Red Bulls in round 1 and follow that up, all cues maybe for a change for the Foxes as they'll have to defend behind the back. Falls right back for Cooper Flax. Kerr waves it across, Kaiser to chase, but it only goes back towards Nick Holiday. It took until Carolina's 10th regular season match to have a game that ended with the full 3. That was a 2-1 win against Chicago Fire back on May 16th. And even the 1 win afterward, it wasn't enough to save Donovan Ricketts' job. Just kind of an overall change top to bottom, especially with the overall whirlwind that the beginning portion of the season was for Carolina. As Carolina look to maybe choke something up, but it's going to be choked down by Brandon Klein. And this is only the 4th game in the Jake Davis era when talking about his transition from goalkeeping coach into the head role. He just talked about how a lot of the work done by the previous regime was a lot about building the foundation and just trying to get the right pieces in, get the culture established, get the club up and running. And it's just a chance to raise the ceiling now that Davis is the main guy. His side have put on a good amount of pressure since the opening 5 minutes. There was a lot of NYC in the opening 4.5 minutes. It's been a lot of Carolina since. Into the area, trying to go from a wide angle. Rambolt got blocked, goes out to a corner for Carolina. This was a last opportunity, as you can see a lot of the offense is going to be run through Arno Tatavan, especially because he's been one of the predominant leaders of this Carolina group since being brought in from UNC Greensboro. And this is Carolina's second corner. Swung in, fouled in the box. There was a lot of pushing and shoving there. So we'll go through it again. Punched up, still loose, headed down. Looks like Andrew Czech couldn't keep it in. It was first kind of volleyed up by Klein, couldn't really get a clean handle on it. Then you had Andrew Czech streaking in on that near post. You still don't have a credited shot attempt by NYC at this point of the match, despite that early barrage of corners where they had 3 in the opening 4 minutes. Pineda outside. Wanted to go across, but he was too far ahead of the defense. As our officiating crew, they're in yellow today. Drew Klemp leads the officiating team. Tom Felice, Achal Awashi, and Shay Lane are our crew this evening. First game of 3 in match week 16's Wednesday slate. You do have a lone game on Friday, a small handful on Saturday, and another about a half dozen on Sunday also, as Orbaugh races back, receiving pressure from Bilden. And Orbaugh does hang on there after Orbaugh didn't play last time against Orlando or Crown Legacy. But in the now 11 matches he's appeared in, he was a starter in all of them. Too high for Tatavan. Follow up from Montenegro. Dislodged. This allows a reversal as Duque got the strip. Bilden leads the way. Couldn't reach Haji Sam. This will be retreated back towards New York's defense, which includes 3 first-year players and the lone returner, who is Adonis Campos, on the right side back. The other 3 on this defensive unit, between Drew Kerr, Cameron Acito, and Joao Loyola, are all first-year members of NYCFC. Attempting to drive the middle is Flax. Widens again. Bit of a battle as Campos couldn't keep it. Tatavan's the first man up, But it's already back for NYC. Shuhetsky drove in, but New York will reset. Attempting to cross. They do get the corner. And let's see if New York can generate anything this time. They had their 4 corners in a quarter hour, 3 in the opening 5 minutes, but none of them registered as a shot, attempted even. Let's see what attempt number 4 can provide. Short. New York cycles. Attempting to chip, no one to receive. Carolina at least escaped the box. Ponce. They go back and forth with Campos and Ponce. A lot of quick passing from New York. However, Carolina are keeping them very much on the outside. Try not to threaten anything up the gut. Duque holds up play. Had Flax at the edge of the area, wanted a penalty, none called. Launched deep, Tatavan in a foot race with the Cito. Tatavan got there first, wins a whistle. Got it for Pineda. Tatavan wants Ramble in the area, couldn't locate. Back it comes. Carolina getting scrappy. Pineda disrupted before it reached Ramble. Nice defense made with the 2 defensive midfielders with Shahetsky and Flax. Outlets and all the room for Drew Kerr. Kerr, Satterlers. Ponce, he's in. Ponce's tripped up. No penalty called as Carolina cleared. A nice tackle by the cord, not just dislodging it from Ponce, but keeping it cleanly as well. Pineda getting in there as Acito holds back. Carolina flip possession. And the whistle eventually gets blown for NYC to escape their own end. This portion of the match is brought to you by St. John's University, the official undergraduate partner of New York City FC2. We are on the campus of St. John's in Queens, Belston Stadium. Carolina Core versus NYCFC, both of whom trying to build off of shutout wins last time out. Both of which against teams they could argue are amongst the cream of the crop in MLS Next Pro. For New York City, they won 1-0 against Philly Union 2 in Chester. It came from a 90th minute game-winning goal from Cooper Flax on a free kick. And for Carolina Core FC, 2-0 win against Carolina Core. Carolina Core, pardon, the 2-0 win against Crown Legacy, pardon me on that one, where they were largely carried on the back of an Arno Tatavan brace. One in the first half, one in the second. They were also aided by a red card in about the final quarter of an hour, which allowed Carolina to hold on and maintain their points, but it didn't help that Crown Legacy just didn't really have it on that day. Kind of instill some of the belief in Jake Davis's group that they can be amongst those teams. How they really want to be a club that can outfight and overwhelm other team, and how that starts from the defense to the result of a clean sheet against the #1 team in the Eastern Conference in Crown Legacy. It's been a very back and forth match. Another team really giving up ground. Both teams just full steam ahead once they do get the ball to the other side. But not only are they going to have to beat out two defenses that are feeling it from clean sheets, also two goalkeepers who were each within the net when those clean sheets that occurred last time out. New York with numbers. Try from deep and scores! Flax finds another! His third goal in 3 straight! And New York take the lead! What a strike from Cooper Flax. That is 3 goals in 3 consecutive games. Had the game winner against Philly Union and gets the opener today. That's back-to-back goals for Cooper Flax on the NYC scoring end. Just an absolute missile outside the box. Nick Holliday could only reach out
New
and
York
hope it hits
City
it.
FC 2 scored in the 22nd minute by number 27 Cooper Flax. For Flax, his 4th goal of the season.
So now that New York City have scored the first goal, it's really gonna be a question as to how they will handle the remainder of this match. But at the very least, they've gotten on the front foot. They were really pressuring for the first portion of the match. That is not only New York's first shot on target, that was their first shot attempt. As every other chance they had in some way, shape, or form got blocked or just didn't make its way through, but they respond to that immediately with a yellow card.
A yellow card has been issued to New York City FC.
So you had late contact from Haji Sam, comes in late.
In the 23rd minute.
He comes in on the side of the defender who is still down. Hard to see who that is. But we approach the halfway mark of the first half of the game. And Cooper Flax has scored 3 of the last 4 New York City goals, which is where we stand at 24 minutes in. And it looks like some of the examination might be on the upper body regional. Signs look from this point. That appears to be Nelson Martinez, who is getting back up on his feet. Starts today at the right back slot. Actually started off the year and is actually listed as a defensive midfielder. But he has started the last couple of matches on the right back slot. His first season in Carolina Core. Actually spent a couple of seasons away from the United States in his native El Salvador. And looks like with that injury, potential looking injury, this might be a chance to change for Jake Davis. He has 7 options on the bench, not including the spare goalkeeper, Trevor Jackson. And this will allow one of the new acquisitions, Seth Hammond, to come into the match.
Number 19, Seth Hammond, in place of number 21, Nelson Martinez. Hammond for Martinez in the 26th minute.
So it looks like the potential injury to Martinez might be worse than initially believed. So that is going to be the end of the day for Nelson Martinez. Seth Hammond comes in. He's only been on the roster for about 5 days. He signed on the 12th. The former St. Bonaventure Bonnie. Only his second match, both of them coming off of the bench. His debut was last time out against Crown Legacy. As Carolina looked to strike, Rambolt across, Zagers. Got it back from Czech. Returns to Czech. He crosses, and it's right into the hands of Brendan Klein. This portion of the match is brought to you by Adidas, the official kit supplier for NYC FC2. 1 goal, 1 change in the opening 27 minutes of this match. Adonis Campos and Joe Suhetsky both credited with the assist on the Flax goal. Both of them will get their first assist of the season, as Drew Kerr has a lane and holds up play. Tries to get around Czech. Gets it back, Kerr. Return feed, has the aim from Flax. The takedown will only result in a corner, much to the chagrin of New York City, but they'll take what they can get at this point, especially a goal up, as a little give and go with Kerr and Flax. Looks like Kerr ate a little bit of contact from Evers, but this will at the very least give New York their 5th corner. Kerr, the short option, blocked off. Kerr getting in there, and the collective defense might have gotten things back for New York. Suhetsky with Kerr on the near side. Curled it, settled down, couldn't get the swing before it's eventually touched up and out by Hammond. Had a little bit of the fancy footwork there, as you had Loyola camping out in the box after the corner, didn't really move away after the initial corner was served, maybe anticipating a second service. But was unable to corral that one in and make anything come from it. As we'll have a redo of that free kick. Flax goes short. Edge of the area. New York charge in, sliding across. It's stopped by Holiday, and the rebound is collected. New York stretched the field again. Looking Carolina core, half an hour in, 1-0 from the absolute beauty of a ball from Cooper Flax. He's got goals in 3 consecutive games. Assists from Suhetsky and Campos. This is the first and only time these two teams will meet. This was actually supposed to be the opening match of their seasons, but it got postponed to today. These two are very tight whenever they battle against each other. Only 3 times prior, New York have won 2 of them. Outside, Som cuts in. Som touches back. Kerr. He got crisscrossed on himself, so that allows Carolina to block it off. Zagers flips it back. For its reach back towards Holiday. New York won the first 2 games that these two played back in 2024 and the first of 2 matches in 2025. However, the last game was on April 5th last year, so you're talking about 14 months ago, where Carolina had their way with NYCFC. That was a 5-0 decision, but I was also back at Truist Point. The only time they played within New York City, that was the first of the 2 in 2025, March 24th. And that was also here at Belson, where NYC had a 2-1 lead. The only time these two met at this venue. This portion of the match is brought to you by Etihad Airways, the official airline partner of New York City FC2. That touch might have opened up room, but it is going to be received by Holiday, who clears. Kai's on the far end, retreats back for Evers. Couldn't spin away from pressure. Rambolt at the center circle. He's got Zagers. Carolina continues. Outside, back in before it's held on by Klein. Carolina had a couple of chances. They had about a quarter-hour stretch after about the 8-minute mark where they really controlled a lot of the possession, a lot of the tempo of the play, but things have reverted back New York's way, especially for the Pigeons probably having some of that momentum in their sails from the 21st minute goal from Cooper Flax. His 3rd of the season. His 3rd consecutive game with a goal as Bilden gets around his man. Bilden comes back, couldn't locate Ponce. Leading the way was Tatovan. He was interrupted as Loyola has done a really solid job at tracking back. On loan. Very familiar with this type of youth developmental league environment, considering how he's a member of the youth program with Fluminense in the top Brazilian division. Kind of something very reminiscent of what Next Pro is, but just in the Brazilian leaes. As Acito steps in. and return towards Brennan Klein. Oh, ricochet is loose. Tatavan couldn't get it through, but it was offside anyways. That almost had signs of yesterday's Norway game where Erling Haaland got the deflection for his second goal of the game. Just putting pressure on the keeper, just having it bounce off of him and into the back of the net. Just getting all up in the defense's and goalie's face can sometimes lead to, at least in Carolina's case, happy accidents. One man's mistake is another man's happy accident. But one thing that most certainly wasn't was Cooper Flax's goal. 4 on the season, 3rd consecutive. Som leads it. Kerr comes across, too high for a header. Chased down by Ponce. Ponce and Campos occupy the far side, chipping it ahead. Duque taken away. Tatavan can't chase it down. Especially for the tumultuous time that Carolina Corps have had in the last couple of weeks with the change-up in the upper management and the coaching staff of the team. At the end of the day, when Jake Davis came in as the head, he just told the guys, even though it's a bit of a strange position, just enjoy the football, just have fun being a part of this roster, playing soccer professionally, because it is what they've come to, at the very least, pro soccer for a reason. And because of that, it has also allowed for a bit of a natural reset that happens, especially when you have fresh perspectives in the building, just fresh faces. They already had the foundation set from the work previously with Donovan Ricketts' crew. And then Coach Roe Lassiter before him. That was all part of building the foundation and getting this team off of its roots to establish something in those first couple of seasons. Getting their first ever win in the U.S. Open Cup. Getting a draw in their first ever match. Making the first ever playoff a year ago, and now they have aspirations to maybe build up upon that. And there is a belief that Jake Davis could be the guy that could get Carolina Corps back into this mix once again, where they do sit 10 points outside of a playoff spot going into today. And for Carolina Corps, their urgency is going to have to be picked up because they are entering their second half of the season. This is game number 15 of 28 for New York. They've got a couple games in hand before they reach halfway. This is game 13 of 28 for NYCFC. However, unfortunately for both New York and Carolina, their issues have mirrored one another. Not enough chances at goal, which results in not enough goal scoring. And because they're not scoring enough goals, especially with all the shuffling and injuries they've had to deal with for New York, all the call-ups for the first team, haven't been able to stonewall their offensive deficiencies. Also haven't been able to outscore their defensive deficiencies either. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is where they are within not only these players' development into their opportunity into the respective first team, at least for New York City, for Carolina to be potential transfer moves elsewhere. 50-50 ball. Duque got it up. Back for Duque. Slants across, outside, back in. Couldn't reach Duque. Campos was sliding by as it's in NYC throw-in. And you still have the man at the top of the area. Carolina already had to make their first sub because of an injury. You had Andrew Check getting back on his feet. And another corner to New York. Nothing crazy in terms of what Mother Nature's providing today. A relatively clear 69-degree day. However, it is going to be a pretty heavy wind. As it is curled in, blocked away. Acito still chasing. New York maintained possession. Back into the mix, couldn't locate Loyola. A lot of that wind is being pushed towards the opposite end, towards where the benches are. And perhaps because of that, some of the play in the first half has kind of naturally gravitated towards that far sideline as Carolina looked to escape it. All sorts of pushing and jostling away, and it's one back to New York, building. New York couldn't keep it. And Rambo retreats as Kaiser keeps it for Carolina. Matt Pilkington's unit really talked about the importance of guys stepping up, especially in the last match versus Philly Union, how a lot of the development process is kind of 3 steps or 4 steps, depending on how you think about it. It's just about adapting to the level, making your impact, turning that impact into dominating levels of impact, and then rinse and repeat when you get to the next step of the ladder. Whether that's the academy guys jumping to second team or second team to first. It's just about finding the right actions and not just so much anywhere specific on the day-to-day. Crossed in, headed away. Touched out by Zegers. But some nice work there by Cooper Flax, who's been all over the 22-year-old from Dix Hills. A 2-time All-American with Wake Forest. Up the gut, still loose, bouncing, and it's eventually caught by Klein. 3 purple jerseys were charging in, but neither could convert. 3 extra minutes in the first half. Still 1-0 from the goal from Cooper Flax.
Added time in the first half. 3 minutes.
Zegers up top, across for Czech. Track getting pursued, has a lane, splits out Pineda, sends it across, pushed out by Klein. Still loose, Rambolt settles, he gave it a swing, blocked, and it's a foul against Carolina. That looked like it was on that attempted strikeout by Rambolt, but this was a nice sequence by Carolina, probably their best sequence of the night. You had the cross on the late runner, and then right as Rambolt settles, he tried to give it a swipe towards goal, missed the ball completely, and for New York, they could put themselves in a great spot if they do go to half with this 1-0 lead. Nick Holliday distributes it out. He's got his defensive partners with, this is Orball. Kaiser on his return from red card suspension after taking a red card against Orlando a couple matches back. Had to miss the Crown Legacy game, back in the starting lineup today at the left back slot. Pineda up the middle, wants to find Tatevin, but was interrupted. New York trying to get out of their own end, as we're through 2 minutes to 3. Some of New York's offense was aided by their 6 corners in the first half to Carolina's 2, but they only managed to get 3 shot attempts from it. Carolina only yet to muster up a singular attempt, neither which was not on target. And it doesn't help that they've been offside a couple times either. Carolina also having to deal with the challenge of a very difficult road stretch. They go straight to Miami from New York, where they play Inter Miami 4 days from now, will Carolina. And they head home to Nashville. They head home to Truist Point to take on the Nashville affiliate Huntsville. That's all within a 9-day stretch. As we're through 3 minutes. Perhaps one last push for New York. Popped up in the air, and that will be the end of the opening half of play. It's 1-0 going into the halftime break. NYCFC with the lead on Carolina Core. Coming up at halftime, we take a closer look at a couple of players with MLS Next Pro connections to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Highlights, schedules, also when we come back.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the City of Angels to the Heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields.
Let's go.
And our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer styles rising from coast to coast. Every chant, every goal, another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
Back in New York, where NYCFC have a 1-0 lead on Carolina Core, as the stories of next pro players making their MLS debut always warm the heart as we take a look at the journey of Owen Prestis making his MLS debut recently right down the road in New Jersey.
Past few years, you've definitely seen a growth in the willingness from the whole club just to give opportunity to young players, which is huge for myself as a homegrown, but also just the younger guys. When you get out there on the field, it's definitely like, wow, first 5 minutes you're like taken back a little bit. But then, as the game went on and I felt the ball at my foot, as I started communicating and hearing the other players, it's like home. It's just so fun to play and be out there, and the feeling of through ball going where you want it to, or the feeling of winning an aerial duel, or the feeling of making a tackle. It's the game I've been playing my whole life. I've been working super hard. I think I just felt a lot of trust. When LeRon said congrats on the debut, in the moment it was like, wow. He coached me in my first few professional games with Crew 2. That was surreal, and whenever my next appearance is, just building off of it, and how can I make that positive for a result or positive for the team? It was pretty cool.
I just love to score goals. I just love to make the fans happy. I just love to see other people smile.
Sumo Jr. slaloming through, and that's just staggering from Carolina Core. Sumo Jr. trying to head it along. Sumo Jr. tucks it in. And it's headed down and past Juan Rojas. Anthony Sumo Jr., the breakthrough.
Growing up in Liberia, I grew up just watching people play at a high level. Like my dad played for the Liberian national team. All his brothers, they all play for the Liberian national team. All my uncles, everybody that I grew up around, George Weah, they all play at a very, very high level, and my eyes was open to it at such a young age. And just talking about it makes me passionate because football was the only thing they had, and it helped change their life, and it helped change my life. So they all just helped push me.
Growing up around the game gave Anthony an early love for it. But there was one person he always aspired to be like.
When you're very young, you just play for fun. You just have fun. Every time you see a ball, it's like it releases all your troubles, all your problems, and you're just playing and just enjoying yourself and having fun. So I never really pay attention to being a professional soccer player, but I knew I always wanted to be like my dad. And I always wanted to be like him personality-wise, and how he raised me, how he grew up, the amount of integrity he had, and how he respected other people. And those are the things that I wanted to be like first before I even thought about being anything else.
When Anthony moved to the United States with his mom and sisters, life changed quickly.
Migrating from Liberia to the United States, me and my mom and 2 little sisters, it was very interesting at first because we never really thought about moving to a different country and changing our life, leaving our families behind, and just leaving a lot of things. So just migrating over here and coming to the US, we faced a lot of adversity, and my mom, she had to go through the mud to work every day, 2 or 3 jobs just for us to have the opportunity that we have today. I give thanks and glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in today, because I think he gave me the strength and the courage to keep driving, to keep striving every day, because life is not as easy as you think it is.
No matter where he was, the game always felt the same to Anthony. It was the place where he felt most like himself.
My dad always tells me that. He always tells me he was born to be a professional football player or you was born to be a football player. No matter where you play at, football is still the same. Whether you play in mud, play on sand, it's still the same. It never changed. So for me, whenever I step into any environment, whenever I step into anywhere, I just pray to God for him to shine his light through me so I can be able to do what I love.
We're not able to get it through, and a quick counter for Sumo. Gets a shot and scores! Sumo strikes back for Carolina!
Carolina Core gave Anthony an opportunity. That trust is something he carries with him every time he plays.
Carolina has changed my life, and they were the first club to give me the opportunity to achieve my dreams, and I'm just grateful and thankful. That's why every time I step onto the field, I want to give everything that I can for this club and for the fans and everybody else.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the city of angels to the heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields.
Let's go.
And our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer citadels rising from coast to coast. Every chant, every goal, another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
At this summer's FIFA World Cup, 105 players at the tournament will have spent time with an MLS club, 44 of whom developed through the MLS player pathway. Of the 44, 19 were in Next Pro, and fans can get a closer look to this historic group over at MLSNextPro.com. We return to Belston Stadium in Queens, New York, where NYCFC have the 1-0 lead on Carolina Core FC, both of whom trying to continue their rise up the table for New York. Only 4 points out of the playoffs going into today for Carolina Core. They have 10 points outside of the playoff line, but as we take a look at what is still to come in this game, how about what's left to come in match week 16 of MLS Next Pro? One game on Thursday, including 4 on Saturday, where Carolina will actually go straight from New York into Miami. So it's a straight direct flight where they will be hosting Inter Miami. Inter Miami 2 are still looking for that first regulation win after they had a loss over the weekend to Chicago Fire 2. And in terms of midweek matchups, the only other one is Huntsville City and Crown Legacy before Sunday's slate. If Huntsville can secure those 3 points against Crown Legacy, not only will that hurt Crown Legacy's chances of staying number 1, but Huntsville can close the 3-point gap between them and Toronto. 5 games before we reach Sunday, but before we get back to the second half, let's take a look at how we got here in the highlights from the first 45. And despite only a 1-goal scoreline, a lot of the chances came off the corner flag. You have this first volley attempt by Brendan Klein before the rebound can be touched in by Andrew Czech. And what a lane this was, just galloping by. All alone in space, Cooper Flack. So much time, so much space in the 21st minute. He had all the time in the world to strike that from deep. And Flax would start the free kick again, but he wouldn't be the one to set it in motion. Eventually, things would make their way around as NYC from range would force the stop by Nick Holiday with no rebound available to even potentially get a tap in. Was built in, and Carolina would get their chances too. This is Czech flipping it to the outside, where another cross would be off the hands of Klein, but no second chance as on that last swipe, Rambolt did get his feet tangled up, forcing the foul, and that was pretty much about it after the first half of play. As we are nearing the start of the second half, let's quickly take a quick break before we return for the second half between NYC and Carolina Core.
Yeah, boys hear sentiment, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still sticking ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now. Oh yes, man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
We're back at Belson Stadium, just
Your boys in
outside of
blue
New York
in the lead,
City in
1-0.
Queens, as we're on the campus of St. John's
Second
University.
half action.
A couple of changes coming up to Carolina Core. We'll keep you posted on those momentarily as we get ready for the second half kickoff between Carolina Core and NYC FC, where it is currently New York with the 1-goal advantage halfway through this one, as we return for the second half between New York City FC2 and Carolina Core FC. Ryan Lee and our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, we thank you for joining us here at Belson Stadium for Carolina Core Game 4 in the Jake Davis era, as they want to push the ball ahead quick. NYCFC only a handful of points outside the playoff line. Hammond on the outside. He's got Lundeen in there too. Ryan Baer, one of the two substitutions of the second half, the other one being Corey Lundeen, as Thomas Rambold and Tim Zagars are the two to leave. That is changes number 2 and 3 for the Core, as Tatovan takes a tumble, couldn't maintain possession.
Carolina substitutions to start the second half. Entering the match, number 88, Ryan Bear, in place
So
of
you have
number
2
7,
changes made by
Ken
Carolina right off the halftime break.
And entering the match,
Ryan
number
Bear,
8,
he's
Corey
only been on this
Lundin,
team for a
in
week.
place of number 20, Thomas
Actually spent the
Rambeau.
first half of the week in USL League
Carolina
2's Asheville
substitutions
City.
to start the second half.
As it goes back and forth with Montenegro towards Bear. Spent the last couple years in the Seattle Sounders organization, but also spent a quick loan stint in USL League 1 with the Richmond Kickers that served in, but it's over. A nice opportunity there from Seth Hammond. As some of the attacking reinforcements making their early entrance. You had Tatevin right in the middle of the box, but he heads it over. And that is the first shot attempt of the second half by either side. Carolina want to come hot off the fly. It's only 1 goal to make up. Kaiser. Carolina being methodical. Montenegro. And it's a foul call against Carolina. One of the first couple announcements made by our officiating crew, one of the first decisions by the team in yellow today. Drew Klemp, our head official, Tom Felice, Ashal Awashti, and Shay Lane round out the crew as Bilden got bodied off the ball. For Bilden, this is his first appearance in 2026, had 7 last year, first in September of last year. The lone forward in the 4-2-3-1 for Matt Pilkington. The interruption from the Brazilian Loyola on the charging Seth Hammond. Top of the area, played back, Hammond. Montenegro. Orbaugh's back with Montenegro. Kaiser reverses course. Bear, the ricochet. Tatevin escapes outside. Hits the brakes and lost control. Tatevin maybe a little too hot to handle. But he does most certainly have that scoring ability within him. Easily the best pure offensive producer for Carolina Core, leading the team in goals and goal contributions, including scoring a brace against Crown Legacy, where Tatevin was listed as the Team of the Week, Player of the Week in MLS Next Pro Match Week 15. Six total goals, which is triple of second place, which is shared between Antonio Pineda and Anthony Sumo, who have 2 apiece. NYC out of their own end. As you have all sorts of scrambling around when you have Ponce and Adonis Campos. Multiple bodies hit the deck, and eventually it's called for New York. That was Joao Loyola, who took all sorts of contact from Pineda. And you can see the scrapping back and forth. Loyola got the better of Pineda before Pineda gets some of the retaliation. I believe that's Hammond. Good to see Joao Loyola back on his feet. He started all 6 matches since joining NYC about 6 weeks ago. As Pineda's forcing Loyola to back up, will at least get the throw to at the very least buy some room. For New York, a lot of the challenge has just been their approach to the game and just trying to win the challenges of the moment. Sometimes just about the situational awareness, taking care of business where and when you need it the most. And a lot has to do with what's allowed some of the players in NYC to grow. You have a large handful of those players from last year getting respective call-ups to the first team or elsewhere. As New York City will give that one right back to Carolina. Pretty calm day here in Queens, 68 degrees, not a whole lot of, not a very high percentage chance of rain, but it is a pretty solid wind brewing as maybe something to come here. The centering feed is just outside. Kaiser was inaccurate with his feed, but gets it back anyways. Second try goes to Hammond. Ryan Baer, a 2025 draft pick of the Seattle Sounders at number 28 overall in the first round. Back around for Kaiser. What a ball. Check inside. Still bouncing before it's collected by Klein. Klein, it's been a really up and down couple of matches for him. His debut this season was a 3-2 loss against Columbus Crew 2. And even in that Columbus game, some of that, you could argue maybe not his fault, but at the end of the day, you do allow 3 goals, including 2 in the final quarter hour and a penalty. And as this ball comes back towards Carolina, Klein was able to come back in a spectacular way, closing off Philly Union 2 to the results of a shutout to get New York City back at 500, where they stand now, 5-5-2 with this Carolina Core team. A couple games from that at 2-7-5 in the opening 14 games of their season. But for Carolina, a little bit of new optimism and new hope with Jake Davis in the fray. And it'll be Matt Pilkington to make his first change of the evening. And this is actually a really interesting spot for Coach Pilkington because he has so few subs available.
In place of number 56, James Bilden. Vatum for Bilden.
So it is James Bilden who will get replaced. You have the 16-year-old forward coming out for the 17-year-old forward coming in, as the Norwegian Henrik Vlatum is going to be the man coming in. First season with NYCFC 2, now 11 matches with them. So right after Fatum makes his entry, we have a free kick to New York. Low driver, still alive, bouncing back, it's touched through, Vlatum couldn't get it through. Second try is whistled against New York. This portion of the match is brought to you by St. John's University, the official undergraduate partner of New York City FC2. Ten minutes into the second half, NYC FC2 with the 1-0 lead on Carolina Core. As Hammond wanted to start something, got interrupted by Campos. He's held up. Campos will get the whistle in his favor. Carolina have at the very least gained back a couple of shot attempts after only having one in the entire first half, as Tatevin breaks through his man, got taken down, and no whistle called. Well, this has most certainly been an interesting match, especially in the physicality portion of it. As it's turned around to Lundin. Well wide of anyone to receive. As eventually you do get a yellow card in the mix.
Carolina yellow card in the 59th minute shown to number 26, Arnaud Tatevin. Tatevin yellow card in the 59th minute.
Outside for Duque, who does win the throw-in. And Tatevin yellow card, which seemingly was for dissent of some sort. That seemed to be the least egregious of the calls in that last bundle up. And Carolina, long awaited, get one in their favor. And you can argue some of the several that Carolina had to deal with and just were forced to play through, for lack of a better term. You could argue they were much harsher than perhaps some of the dismay of Arnaud Tatevin, especially when he believed that he got a tug in the penalty box, perhaps trying to get on the dot. But either way, Carolina back in possession. Orball. Kaiser. Hammond got bodied from behind. Tatevin to support. Looks to escape Campos. Releases back towards Kaiser. He sends it across. Couldn't get the header through as you had Loyola in the way. Czech chases it down, and it'll stay with the core. An hour in, still 1-0. 21st minute goal from Cooper Flax. Lundin, give and go. Edge of the area, come back and just too high from Montenegro. Golden opportunity, all alone in the middle of the area, just couldn't bury it. This was a nice little give and go, cuts it back inside, and Montenegro releases. He's maybe inches from the top of the bar. Maybe about 6 inches to a foot at max, give or take. Montenegro, only the one goal this season. That was back in mid-March against Orlando City. He does have a couple of setups in consecutive games, as this one's laid back towards Holiday. But for Montenegro, a consistent presence in the lineup, 80 matches in MLS Next Pro across 4 seasons, including 25-plus appearances in each of the last 2 seasons. Last 3 seasons with Inter Miami, 2, and first year with Carolina is Ricardo Montenegro. Bear reaches in. He regains possession. Montenegro by center. Yair Kaiser gets it back. Sliding it through. What a lane. If Pineda can do anything, sends it across. Too high for Tatsevin. Czech will watch it roll out. You will get a New York throw, but very tight up against that flag. Carolina pressures. Gains it back. Flips it up. Not out. Still for Carolina. Wanting offsides, not getting it. Popped up and cut by Klein. Hammond goes quick. Tatsevan misplayed. Ponce just got absolutely drilled by Evers as he ran into him. So Carolina might take advantage. It's fanned out, and finally they blow the play dead. That looked like Camilo Ponce. As the medical crew gets some extra attention, and that's a tight one. Evers doesn't really go for the ball. He more or less just tries to stand his ground. Ponce most certainly just kind of inadvertently spins right into Evers. You do have a bit of the size mismatch there with the 5'9" Ponce against the 6'0", 180 that is Nolan Evers. He just tried to play the ball and just met the entire body of Evers, who didn't. So we will get a slight break in the action 20 minutes into the half. A lone meeting between these two. Carolina won the last time these two played. However, New York won the first two. Carolina looking for their third win in regulation all season. It could also be their first stretch of back-to-back wins. A Carolina unit that's just been focused on outworking other teams. For New York City, it's just about the mental preparedness and the readiness of a situation. However, nothing could prepare you for a 6-foot-tall wall ready to meet you inches away from the ball. So there could be more subs on the way for New York. This is where they'll occur. 66th minute. And standing right by the fourth official, Shea Lane, is not only Matt Pilkington, but you also have... That was the 67th minute sub. But standing along there is both Jonathan Lopez and Lucas DePino. Likely a precaution for Camilo Ponce, so he will exit the match. This will be the time to enter for the soon-to-be UConn Husky Lucas DePino. So with Lopez, you
New
get
York City FC
a back for a
substitutions
back,
in the 67th
and
minute.
for DePino, you get a midfielder for
Entering the
more
match,
of a
number 92,
straight
Lucas
striker.
DePino in place of number 83, Camilo Ponce.
DePino,
and
the
number 77,
18-year-old,
Johnny
he
Lopez
will
in place of
he will
number
go to
82,
UConn
Rodolfo
in the
Campos.
fall. He's
That's
previously
DePino
gotten
for
call-ups
Ponce,
with the
Lopez
USA
for Campos in
U15.
the
That's for Jonathan
67th
Lopez, 19 years old, from the academy program. This is his 4th season playing with New York City's next pro side. Adonis Campos is the other replacement as Carolina streaks in, trying to come to the middle. Rebound is there, but Tataven pushes it over. This was a nice opportunity for Carolina, probably one of their better chances of the second half. You had the initial touch that might have redirected it, but nonetheless, you had an open lane for Tataven, just couldn't get it underneath the bar. And Carolina Core are still left off the board as we stand. This portion of the match is brought to you by Adidas, the official kit supplier for New York City FC2. (1-0) New York City over Carolina Core. Cooper Flax in the 21st had assists from Suhetsky and from the now substituted Campos. Pineda comes across. Montenegro on the outside. Back to the middle, Bear. Plays catch with Montenegro. Lundin in the center. Waiting for options. Lundin. Ryan Bear. Lofts it. Hammond heads it. Tataven couldn't get there. Hammond couldn't get a rebound, but it's still available. Kaiser keeps it alive. Kaiser across. Blocked away. Bear for Lundin. Lundin sidesteps. Evers coming up from his center back slot. Check. With Evers. Bear's back in play. Cuts to his right. Bear. Had options, didn't take any of them. Back to the middle. Took a ricochet. Couldn't get to goal. NYC clear. To the sideline, last off of Lopez. Bear helps out. Montenegro reclaims for Carolina. Pineda tangled up. Recovered again. Leading for Tataven. Cuts it back. Waits for a lane. Takes it. Nice block in front. Follow-up is against Carolina. One of the things you got to appreciate, especially from the true forward position, is sometimes they're in the right spot, the right place. Maybe a little bit of a quote-unquote head start to try to get a jump on, but that time it was Henrik Phantom coming back into things. Henrik Fatum was the replacement of the lone forward. James Bilden in the 4-2-3-1 format. Pilkington. Shapes changed a bit. Back in the area. No one to receive. Still Carolina. Lundin plays it back. Center circle, Orball with the final 20 minutes to go. Montenegro jostled. Lopez took it. Couldn't get past the center stripe. New York, second try. It's a foot race. But Batum is going to be met by Yair Kaiser.
Come on, Joe. Let's go, Pope. Get the ball.
And this is where another change is coming for the core. Some reinforcements on the attacking end as a lot of the attention went to Arno Tatavan, and maybe some of that could be alleviated by the entry of Anthony Sumo Jr., the 27-year-old from Liberia.
In the 73rd minute.
Already matching a career-high 2 goals from his first season last year. But this is his first full season, as he came in about a month and a half, 2 months into the season last year. Duque charging ahead. David Duque outside, and the shot is ricocheted in! Gapino, his first goal in Next Pro. He's off the bench. He's on the board. New York lead by 2. What a rush this was for NYCFC. This is similar to how they got their first goal, except instead of the shot is the pass outside, and it took a friendly ricochet inward. Unsure if Holiday just wasn't expecting it, or maybe it glanced off of something along the way. But DePino, he's flipping, excited to get his first goal in MLS Next Pro.
The first of his MLS Next Pro career, scores
9 matches across 2 seasons, committed to UConn in the fall. He's only received call-ups to the USA U15s way back when, in 2023, he didn't get into any caps, just continued to grind through the academy program, got his chance to become a member of the second team last year, continues to find opportunities with the NYCFC 2 side in 2026. He already matched his playing time from last year in the 4 games he's had this year. And on top of that, gets his first goal in Next Pro, and we're up by 2 in New York. Quarter hour to go for Carolina Core. They've only scored the first goal 3 times all season. And if you include a 0-0 draw within the mix, they've conceded the first goal 9 times, or 10 times, pardon, 11 if you include today. And in those games where they conceded the first goal, they've only gotten 1 win and 4 draws. They've pretty much been unable to recoup on multi-goal leads. They actually blew a multi-goal lead a couple weeks back against Orlando. As this one's launched in the area, headed away. The rebound is there, but flicked well over by Czech. This portion of the match is brought to you by Etihad Airways, the official airline partner of NYCFC 2. So as New York takes a 2-0 lead, goal officially credited at the 73rd. Carolina had to come back from Carolina ones who squandered a multi-goal lead a couple of weeks back against Orlando. However, they were up 2-0 after only 42 minutes, where Orlando would come back, and also Orlando getting the comeback was in large part because Carolina took a red card. However, with the full strength of New York City and the fact they're on the hunt again, that'll make that hill even steeper to climb. Duque, DePino tangled up, got it back. DePino and Duque have been causing all sorts of havoc as it's laid back to Suhetsky. Low pass. New York back on again, centering feed, just out of reach of Kerr, reaches back, still Kerr, before he is able to draw a penalty. Some nice individual effort there by Drew Kerr as he stumbled to get the possession, did gain it back, but all sorts of contact inside the area, and you had a handball in the mix. It bounced up on Evers, it hit him in the hand as Kerr was driving through, and this allows Cooper Flax the chance for a brace. Flax on a goal. And what a chip! 2 goals for Flax, 3 goals for New York. This one signed, sealed, and delivered. New York get 3 goals for 3 points with a dozen minutes left to go. A cheeky PK goal for Cooper Flax. He's got 2 goals on the season, and that puts him at 4 goals in the last 3 matches. Only 10 starts in MLS Next Pro. 5 goals in those 10 starts, and Cooper Flax has been having himself a month of June.
Scored by number 27, Cooper Flax.
And amongst that mix as well, we also did have a changeup as well. Antonio Pineda is done for the night. Owen Martin is the replacement.
David Diaz in place of number 15, Antonio Pineda. That's Diaz for
Pardon,
Pineda in the
that's not
79th.
Martin, that's Diaz. That's David Diaz going in for forward. Diaz last time out against Crown Legacy was his 50th match, maybe a chance to spring things on offense, or at least maybe gain a little confidence going into Carolina's next match where they go to Inter Miami. As it's bouncing, the try is wide. NYCFC 2, just before the game started today, they were 4 points outside of the playoffs. 3 points to close that gap, pretty much delivered with a 3-goal gap in the final 10 minutes. Of course, you never know what's going to happen. But Flax with a brace. And then you also have that second goal by DePino, which didn't do Carolina any favors either. Trying to bounce their way back in. It does take a clip towards the corner, which will be the first of the half for either side. Which is a complete shocker considering how you had 8 total corners in the first half, including 6 from New York. This is the first for the half for either side. Maybe Carolina can get one back. Swung out, headed down, it's bouncing, second try, off the post, and eventually it's in. all the purple jerseys in the mix here. At Andrew Check, you at Anthony Sumo. We'll have to see who the credit goes to, but at the very least, Carolina, they won't get shut out. And they still have 9+ minutes. The header by Orbaugh, and then this try by Czech goes off the post, and it just bounces around. Klein couldn't collect. You had the bank off the bar. Sumo was in there as well. As of right now, that is Andrew Czech's first goal with Carolina Core. His first professional goal since he joined the Core only a week ago. You did have Anthony Sumo on the doorstep also, so we will have to wait and see. But one thing we do know is Carolina, they won't get shut out. Bounces back towards Nick Holiday. Could Carolina Core maybe have something miraculous on their way as New York spring a counter? Vatum. Vatum cuts across, laid back. Duque saved off the line. Rebounds available. DePino collects it back. Lopez on the outside will just escort it to the corner. This was the last opportunity as Vatum was looking for his second goal. He scored one about 6 weeks ago against New England, but that was a nice try there, but the block away by Holiday keeps it out. And Carolina will escape their own end, maybe for a chance to attempt a comeback, or at least make things interesting going into stoppage time. And within the last sequence, DePino does get shown a yellow as well.
New York City yellow card shown to number 92, Lucas DePino, in the 85th minute. DePino yellow card, 85th minute. There's a change in scoring on the Carolina goal. It is now being credited to number 27, Andrew Check, in the 82nd minute. Check, Carolina, 82nd minute.
So after all of that was getting figured out, you had Anthony Sumo on the doorstep, but the credit does go to Andrew Check after all. Check gets his first goal, was signed to Carolina Core about a week ago. 5-year player with UNC, including being their captain for the 2025 campaign, was Check. And he does get the assist also from Charles Orbaugh, who got that last headed touch. And for Orbaugh, that's his first goal contribution of any kind. Nothing else in the middle before it's forced out. Big contact to a yellow. That is Evers who gets shown the yellow card.
Carolina yellow card in the 86th minute shown to number 4, Nolan Evers. Evers yellow card, 86th minute.
And you have a very physical presence in Nolan Evers, not only the captain of this Carolina roster, but can be a real imposing presence, especially in the back. That length, not just beneficial in blocking off shot lanes and getting into the box for set piece opportunities, but he's had some body contact in this game, and it has influenced the game, but once you go a little bit overboard, that's where the yellow card gets shown. Something that Carolina has dealt with a lot of this year. Top 5 in league in that department. As it's outside, Diaz cuts in. Couldn't do anything with it as Fatum comes back. Fatum only as far as Kaiser. Final 3 minutes plus stoppage for Carolina. They will go straight to Miami from here, where they have a home date against Inter Miami on Saturday. And they will have a couple days to get back to High Point, relax before they do have to play Huntsville at home on the 28th. So that's 3 consecutive games, some very lengthy travel time in about an 11-day stretch. Traveling just shy of 2,200 miles throughout that between High Point to New York, down to Miami, and return flight to High Point. Good to see that even with 2 minutes left in the game, New York City are still creating all sorts of heavy pressure. Even though Carolina had more of the offensive opportunities, 10 shot attempts for them on New York 6, but a lot of that was in crunch time when Carolina was down pretty early on, only 20 minutes. 21 minutes into the match, NYC took the lead, and Carolina have been chasing ever since. Flax in the 21st. And they even built their lead up to 3 in the second half. And all indications look like Matt Pilkington just wants to focus on hanging on with the attacking midfielder David Duque coming out for Owen Martin.
New York City substitution in
The
the
former
89th minute,
Kentucky
entering the match,
Wildcat
number 58,
hasn't
Owen
played in a
Martin, in
month.
place
You
of
have to
number
look back
97,
exactly a
David
month,
Duque.
May
The partner
17th
for
in
Duque,
Jersey
number
against the
89.
Red Bulls. 5 appearances this year for Owen Martin since he returned to New York from the NCAA. Klein forced to come out. You had Lundin on a breakaway. And a nice aggressive effort goes back into Carolina's box. Centering feed, unable to make its way to Som. And free kick given to New York. So you have a center back taking the place of an attacking midfielder when Owen Martin made the change for David Duque. And with a 2-goal lead and 8 minutes left in stoppage time, sometimes it is best to just simply hang back and just fight for another day, get a guy like Martin into the fray. Keep in mind that Matt Pilkington only had 5 total subs coming into today, including their backup keeper, Rami Daoud. Straight to goal, wide. But for Matt Pilkington, only 4 players available as substitutes. And you really limit your options, but that's just largely due to the availability that they have with first team on break, academy not being the huge wide pool that they traditionally have, because they did have some cup competitions in the mix as well with the academies. And then you have Carolina Core, this very insular, independent squad, one of 3 in MLS Next Pro. As this one's led forward, Sumo cuts back. He's still on his feet. Sumo denied. Rebound, and they get one back. Oh, this game got interesting. David Diaz, the last one to fire, as there was all sorts of commotion in the area. It was Sumo who broke past. New York won an offside. They weren't going to get it. First shot denied as Sumo goes to ground. Diaz gets the second one. And this game has found new life with about 6 minutes left to go.
Diaz for Carolina in the 92nd minute.
For David Diaz, that's goal contributions in back-to-back. He got an assist in the Crown Legacy game, which was his 50th appearance in MLS Next Pro. Now, how does this game change? And is there something for Carolina? That throw-in will go in their direction. Carolina will have 5 extra minutes. They had a multi-goal lead against Orlando that they squandered because they took a red card. They had a 2-goal lead that they held on to. And the reason Carolina held on was because of a red card. They had to make up a 3-0 gap. Full 11. But could NYC put this game to bed with the corner that will be their first of the match? Or will New York just simply play prevent up against the corner flag? You have Lopez and Flax. It is Lopez. And that's box out territory. Carolina to throw. Short. Back in the area, cleared away. Sumo can't reach it. He might have had a push off there against Bear, and that's what they call. Halfway through stoppage, 4 of 8. They go outside. Fatum. Did eat up a little bit of the clock. What life is left for Carolina? 3.5 minutes left in stoppage. When conceding the first goal, they've only gotten 1 win and 4 draws in that scenario. Yet to stage a multi-goal comeback. If Carolina do manage, they would have erased a 3-0 deficit. Especially for a team that prides itself on outworking the game and just trying to feel out those moments. What do they have in their wings now? Bayer chases back. Grappled by Som. Lundin. 2.5 in stoppage. On a pivot check. Against the line. Still alive. Bouncing around. Carolina will be at the corner. They're second. 2 in each half. Blocked away by New York. Montenegro gets tackled. Under 2 minutes to go. Kaiser back in, blocked. Still loose. Carolina pressuring for a potential game-tying goal. New York can't cross center. Batum dislodged. Bear. Cut off by NYC. Back in, and it is a goal kick. The last gasp might have been held off by Brennan Klein and the New York defense without conceding a corner. Carolina will get a throw in. Do they have one final pulse within them? Sumo spins through. Foul against New York. Foul against Carolina, pardon. New York wins the ball back. Brendan Klein likely one kick away from back-to-back clean sheets. Or back-to-back wins. Coming off a clean sheet. Can he at least get another win within him? He will! New York City! They hang on for dear life.
Final score,
New York City
3.
have won back-to-back.
Carolina 2.
There's a little bit of scuffling back and forth as Sumo made some contact on Lopez. All senses of frustration on the Carolina end, especially with the ending sequence. But this game began and ended with New York City. They were on the front foot the entire time, and they most certainly stood their ground. But a lot of that was coming on the back of the 22-year-old Cooper Flax. The first goal in the 21st, the PK, which now is the game winner in the 78th. Although Carolina would claw back with 2 goals of their own, it was too little, too late. And that is where we end things through all 90 plus here in New York. And what a couple days it's been in New York. An electrifying couple of days between the Knicks winning the title, New York getting their first couple games of the World Cup, New York City FC2 win this one, final 3-2, and championship parade for the Knicks is tomorrow as well. So what a week it's been here in the Big Apple. Don't forget to watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and One Football for our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew. I'm Ryan Lee. New York City FC beat Carolina Core 3-2. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.